Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 200th District Court. We're here in FM 24-009348. And Ms. Escamilla, it's your client's motion, so you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm here representing Tamara Schnarr. She is age 37. She's the mother of a 3-month-old. His name is Elior Schnarr. He goes by Ori. He is actually 3 months and 8 days old today. My client had Elior. He was born on September 15th of this year, and she was in a relationship with Steve Walford, who's respondent here, and they were living together. She recently moved out of the home that they were living together out around December 15th to get some space. I'm sorry, around the week before December 15th, around that weekend, around December 14th, to get some space. On or about December 15th, she had Elior with her. She was staying at an Airbnb. Mr. Wofford wanted to see the baby, and she reached an agreement with him that he could see the baby from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. He had his adult son with him, and so he said he wanted to spend, time with his adult son and his baby. So she agreed to let him have the baby for that time period. She has not seen her baby in a week, since last Sunday, and this is a breastfeeding baby. He essentially has kidnapped this baby from her. He has refused to turn the baby over. He has sent a contract to her that he has demanded that she sign, and has really essentially said that until she signs that contract, she cannot have any contact with the baby. He has sent her random text updates, random videos and photos of this kid, but she has not had any contact or seen her baby in real life, or held her baby, or breastfed this baby. And little Ori has never had formula until this time. We're assuming he's had formula. She was so desperate to see him and worried about him that on Thursday, December 19th, she did drive over and drop off a bottle of her breast milk so that this baby could have some breast milk. But Mr. Wofford has refused to let her even hold her baby or see him. Mr. Wofford has no legal right to this child. He is not on any legal birth certificate, and he has never been adjudicated the father of this baby. And he is holding this child hostage. She did call the police in an attempt to get self-help before she had to hire me, and the police said that it was a civil matter and she needed a court order. And she is we're really, really scared because based on what her relationship was with Mr. Wofford, he's a sovereign citizen. He doesn't believe in governed sovereignty, the government's sovereignty. He doesn't believe really in the healthcare system. And so we have serious concerns, not only about Ori getting regular feeding and eating regularly and getting fed. We have concerns that if Ori, as 3 months old gets sick or gets ill, Mr. Wofford will not seek immediate medical care. So we're just asking that the court sign a writ today to return the child to my client, to mom, so that mom can have the baby and resume breastfeeding. And then down the road, we can have a hearing. We can have all this heard out after Mr. Wofford has taken a genetic test, after Mr. Wofford has been adjudicated the father of this child. Right now, he's not even really the father of the child. And that's all we're asking today, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Mr. Wofford, you're here representing yourself. You received a copy of the motion today.
Yes, I did. Thank you, Judge.
Let me go ahead and swear you in.
Okay, good.
We don't have a record, but I will ask you to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you will give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yes, I will be representing myself. I actually had counsel prior, but just based on how things went, I felt it would be best for me just to speak as the father of Ori. And so to give you a rundown of what happened, I am the father all the way from ovulation to the birth, cutting the umbilical cord. I actually submitted a petition to adjudicate parentage, and then also a temporary restraining order that was filed as I got this the notice to appear. If you want, I can give you the cause number. And so to essentially give you what's transpired thus far, yes, Tamara and I had been in a relationship for a year, and I was with her every single appointment, midwife appointment through various different midwives, and didn't miss a beat and showed up to absolutely everything. And then her mom came out to help because the delivery was quite rough for Tamara. And then also just to speak to
Mr. Wofford, I don't need the whole recitation of the relationship.
Okay.
I need to know a response to the allegations that are pertinent to this motion. And that is that mom has not seen infant child in over a week.
Yeah.
And that you are refusing to return the child, and the child is being breastfed, and that is not happening because you're refusing to return the child. I need to understand your response to that. I don't need the entire history of your relationship.
Okay, I was just kind of following the other counsel's kind of format. So, but I'm happy to answer those questions. So the reason I decided to keep Ori was because Tamara is planning to leave Germany. Her mom is here. They're both German citizens. They've been making plans for weeks. I have it documented, and I included that in my exhibit of my filings. And so she's a flight risk for the child. I have no intention to hold him. And even the agreements that I sent over were to, hey, let's work together to figure out something, because without, like, you're planning to leave the country with our child. And I need some sort of safeguards, not only for Ori's safety, but also my parental rights. And they've been circumvented through the birth certificate when I'm the presumed father. I've been there every single day with him. I've raised 3 boys. I know what he needs, and I do agree that he needs his mom. He needs both of us, but it can't be at the expense of leaving the country. And I've done everything I can to work with Tamara. And no, he's not being fed formula. And but she's also been resisting giving him her milk, because the only reason I don't feel comfortable letting him go because I know he's safe here. And I just did a this is the chain of custody agreement for the paternity test that I just did it. And so I'm just asking the court to just give me days to prove this. And then looking at the documentation that I sent in my petition, because I am the father. I always have been the father, and I'm always going to be the father. And I understand that I need time to prove it, because they told me it's going to take 2 to 4 days because of the holidays. And so I am doing in what's Ori's best interest as his father, to make sure that he remains in the country close to his father and his mother. But I do not, I have evidence that she's ready to leave. Her mom's waiting for them to fly to Germany. And that's the only reason that I don't think visitation is possible, because if he's in Germany, I essentially have no access to him. Since we're unmarried, German law doesn't require visitation without a lengthy legal battle. And that's not to mention me flying back and forth to Germany. And so I feel like I'm in a difficult position. Like, I love my child. Like I said, he's my 4th son. I know how to take care of babies. And I want to honor Tamara. I really do. But it's like, if I give her possession, she's going to leave, because she can get a German passport, and maybe even a US passport, based on the birth certificate, even though I haven't seen it. So I'm hearing a couple things. I'm hearing that I'm a father in this petition here. I'm hearing that I'm not the legal father, but like, we want to request child support and other things. And so it's just, it's conflicting. And so it just feels like a difficult spot. And from my heart as a father, I'm asking the court to allow me to prove it to him and give us time for this to have due course and due process.
All right, Mr. Wofford, do you have a passport for the child?
I do not.
Have you applied for one?
Yes, but I put a stop to it. I put a stop to everything I could.
How did you do that?
Through the, I forget the initials, but it's like something with a child abduction, something or other, but the passport's essentially on hold right now. Or I don't know if it's canceled, but.
Okay. All right, Ms. Escamilla, if you want to respond.
Yes, Your Honor. My client called the passport office today. The passport is in review right now. So I don't know what he means by putting a hold on it. He has applied for a passport for this child. We have serious concerns that he may go to Bali or another country. My client is German. She mentioned going to Germany over the holidays, not to move, but to go visit family. And Mr. Wofford took this action. He never said, hey, can we have an agreement? She gave this baby to him thinking that he would honor his agreement and see the baby from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And he has kept this baby over a week now from its mother. He has refused to let her actually hold or touch this baby. This baby needs to have formula. I just think this is kind of outrageous. I've never been served. We've never received any paperwork that he's claiming that he's filed or that he has. I think this is he's just trying to bully her into getting this child. And he has the child now. He's admitted to applying for a passport. If you'd like to take some testimony from my client about the passport issue, she can testify about what she heard from the passport office today. We have serious concerns about what his plans are.
Okay. All right, Ms. Schnarr, if you would raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm your testimony in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I didn't hear the answer.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
I guess, Ms. Escamilla, do you want to ask her questions or do you want me to handle?
I'll let you handle it, Judge, unless you prefer I do. I'm happy.
Okay. No, that's fine. Ms. Schnarr, I guess my first question is, have you applied for a passport for the child?
I did not. I haven't applied.
Okay. And what do you know about Mr. Wofford's application?
I remember we went together. It was, I think, December 10th. And it was really urgent and important for him that we go during the time that my mom was here. And things were already getting challenging between us. And so basically we showed up at the office, at the passport office. I was taking care of Ori. I wasn't fully present. I didn't even see what he gave the people there, the officer, what are they called? The agents to apply for the passport. I remember I did afterwards. I informed myself, and I know that I signed the DS-11, which back then I didn't know because Ori was fussy. I was taking care of him. I even asked the person, the agent that was serving us, if I could go away into a cubicle and breastfeed him. And I wasn't even aware that Steve used his birth certificate that he created himself and stamped by the notary plus an affidavit to basically not having to use an official birth certificate. And as I found out afterwards too, the passport was in his care only without my knowing. So he indicated all of his contact information and was only in his care, not in mine.
Okay. And you don't have any plans to move to Germany?
From the beginning, I suggested that I take time away. A lot has been happening in our relationship. the pregnancy, birth, postpartum, it has really taken a toll on me. I haven't gotten the support that I needed to suddenly be a mother and having full responsibility over a human being. And I always kept asking Steve for more support, which I didn't receive from him. And then once my mom came here, I just felt what it's like to receive support. General support. I can go more into detail, but that basically brought up the idea of, wow, it would really feel nice to actually be with my family, be back home in Germany, introduce Ori to my family, and really also recharge from a challenging time this year.
Okay. Ms. Escamilla, anything else?
Yes, if I may, Your Honor.
Okay, briefly.
You got it. Ms. Schnarr, you are a permanent resident of the U.S., correct?
I am.
And you've been a permanent resident how long?
8 years.
Since 2016, is that correct?
Correct.
And you don't have plans to move to Germany at this time, right?
Steve knows that I'm actually aspiring to get American citizenship.
Okay. Just so the court is clear, it's a simple yes or no, okay? Just so the court is clear, when you were talking about Germany, you were talking about going to visit your family for the holidays, just for a visit, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then I think that's it. I think nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Mr. Wolford? As it relates to the child and the current situation?
Yes. And do you mind if I address a few of these points that were brought up just for clarity?
If you do so briefly.
Okay. So I'm planning on staying in Austin. Tamara and I were wanted to move to Bali and live abroad. I had no intention. The last thing I want to do is drag a child around the world. And so the intention is to just stay here unless sometime in the future, Tamara and I decide, what's best for him and everyone involved. Also, I want to mention that, I did take possession of Ori for the last 10 days or so. Prior to that, Tamara actually hid her location from me and wouldn't allow me to see him. I did see him for about 30 minutes in that 30 days, but she essentially withheld him from me. And like I said, I in some ways I did do the same thing, but it's again because of this flight risk. And when I talked to Tamara, there was like, I just need to get away to recharge. There's no definitive date. And I know what happens when she's there. If she decides to stay there, there's zero recourse for me. And that's the biggest thing, is that I need to be in his life because I know what's in best interest of Ori. And I want to do everything I can do to work with Tamara so that way we can provide for him the very best way possible. And I agree that she needed support and I did everything I could, but while, I'm taking care of her a lot, which was like almost a full-time job, taking care of the baby and then also working to provide. And so, and I understand that Germany might be an attractive way in a lot of options, but in my view, that's quite risky for me because she could literally just say, I'm not coming back. And unless there was some sort of custody arrangement in Germany, and that's way beyond my scope of knowledge. And I'm not, I want stability for Ori. Like I'm really doing this. I want him to have a stable life and not traveling all over the place. And it's about what's in the best interest for him. And I'm hoping the court can help remedy that.
Okay. Well, what is best and what is stable for an infant is to be seeing his mother on a daily basis, especially when he is a nursing child. So you can agree to return the child by 3:00 this afternoon, or I will issue the writ. That was to you, Mr. Walker. Do you have a response?
Yeah, what what recourse is there that I get him back, and what recourse do we have? Like, I'm open to having a visitation schedule, and I'm open to like having some sort of safeguard that like he's not going to leave the country.
Okay, well, I will address a couple of things on the passport, because both parties have raised issues. So I am going to enter an order that if either parent obtains a passport, it will be surrendered to the 200th District Court of Travis County. Okay. If either of you receive a passport back from the State Department, it is ordered to be turned over to this court until these issues receive a further hearing. Whether in this case that Ms. Schnarr has filed or the case that Mr. Wofford says he's filed, I further will order that no one may leave the country with the child, period. So that takes care of what both of you are saying on the flight risk. And I do appreciate that. Bali, I don't believe, is a member of the Hague Convention. I think Germany is. But in any case, it is very difficult and very expensive to return a child to the United States if they are taken by a parent who's unwilling to return them. However, I'm still faced with the immediate problem of a mother who is being deprived of a child that she is nursing. And you are welcome, Mr. Wofford, to get on the phone with Ms. Escamilla, either you or your lawyer, and attempt to work out a temporary visitation schedule. I can't do that here because I'm handling all the emergencies for the entire county, and there are others coming in as we speak. So I'm very limited on time. But first, I think you need to confer with her and see what can be worked out. I fear, based on your actions, there's going to be some hesitation to work with you. But she knows her client and the facts and circumstances of the case, and she knows that in a week or two, there will, in all likelihood, be a temporary orders hearing, and she knows what a judge is likely to do at that hearing. So it might make sense to get that worked out by agreement in advance. But I can't impose it upon you. So I ask again, Mr. Wofford, after having made the rulings about the passport, prohibiting both parties from taking the child outside of the United States, will you agree to return the child today by 3 p.m. to Ms. Schnarr?
Yeah, is that so essentially I give Ori back to his mom by 3. Actually, can you make it more like 5?
No.
No?
If you don't agree to 3, I'm going to send law enforcement to come and get him. That's the alternative.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't like the alternative. Let me be very clear. I am reluctant to get law enforcement involved. However, I need you to understand what you've done is not okay. It's not okay. It's not in the child's best interest. And under the law, you currently don't have any parental rights. You're not married, so there is no presumption of anything regarding you. You are not the presumed father. And if you were married, that would be different, but you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the law, Mr. Wofford. I don't make the law, but I follow it every day. That's what I'm here to do. So you can agree to 3 o'clock. If you don't, I'll sign the writ and law enforcement will come and retrieve him. If that is, you need to stop and think for a moment. Is that really something you want to inject into your child's life? Is that really best?
Yeah, I'm not I'm not disputing that. Like I said, I have no problem giving Tamara Ori. It was my biggest concern was that she's leaving. And since you put an order to stop that, I have all the faith and confidence that will be upheld.
Okay. Then let me just clarify so I'm clear. You do agree to return Ori by 3 o'clock today to Ms. Schnarr?
Yeah, is she going to come pick him up?
Ms. Escamilla, is that okay?
I think so. Ms. Schnarr, if I may ask, Your Honor, are you available to pick up the child today by 3 at his home?
I prefer a neutral location.
It's fine. Is there something nearby, like a
public location like a HEB or a police department, fire station? Sorry, Judge.
Sure, libraries are good. Fast food restaurants, some people like.
Ms. Schnarr, is there a location nearby that you guys could exchange at near his residence?
I'm looking. I'm finding 888 Pan Asian restaurant on like just looking quickly. It might not be the best, but it's a clear one.
Is there like a 888 Pan Asian restaurant? That's what you found?
Yeah,
See.
it should be close to his home.
On Old Torp Road?
How about, can I make a suggestion?
That's fine. You're welcome to offer.
There's the Walgreens that's down the street. I believe you know where that's at, Tamara.
Do you have a street name, Mr. Walford?
So that would be the Walgreens on Riverside. Here, let me get the actual address.
Is it Riverside and Pleasant Valley?
Possibly. Give me 2 seconds. So the address is 1920 East Riverside Drive.
All right, Ms. Schnarr, will that work for you?
The location works.
Okay, great. Ms. Escamilla, any other details we need to cover here?
Yes, Your Honor. I guess the understanding is that Mr. Wofford has agreed to return the child to her by 3 o'clock today at 1920 East Riverside Drive at the Walgreens in a public location, and the parties will exchange inside the Walgreens. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, we need to go inside? Okay.
I mean, Ms. Escamilla, is that your request? Generally, that is better than the parking lot.
I agree. I would prefer that at least then it's in a public location and there are people around. So yes, I would prefer that. And then if he does not sign, if he is not there by 3 p.m. with the child, Your Honor, then we will submit this writ and ask you to sign it if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If I hear back from Ms. Escamilla that the exchange did not occur at 3 p.m. and I'm saying 3:05, she can let me know it didn't happen. The writ will issue and we'll get law enforcement involved. I don't think that's good for anyone. And I'm glad that Mr. Walford, you've agreed to go ahead and return him. And then what I encourage you to do, you have Ms. Escamilla's contact information. You need to reach out to her and talk about what you raised as far as visitation and getting temporary orders in place until y'all can have a further hearing on all of the issues that have been raised. Okay.
And I'm happy to talk to Mr. Wofford's attorney about that if he wants to pass the information.
Mr. Wofford, if you have an attorney, you can have him or her.
For this, I prefer to handle my own affairs.
That's up to you. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, just a reminder, if anyone receives a passport for the child from the State Department. It is to be surrendered immediately to the 200th District Court at 1700 Guadalupe, 9th floor. And both parties are enjoined from leaving the United States with the child until further order of the court after an evidentiary hearing. Okay. All right. I encourage you to talk and try and work out the other issues, but for now, I see an agreement to return the child by 3. If not, the writ will be issued. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Yes. Best of luck to the parties. I hope you're able to get on better terms as the new year arrives. Best to you both.